Emotions are running wild. Bitcoin is breaking key levels. Volatility is high. Traders are getting chopped and trapped. And this is because they're reacting instead of planning. But here's the thing. Even in markets like this, good trades do still exist. Just yesterday, we managed a clean Chili's USDT trade, protected our risk early, and walked away profitable, all in a very unpredictable environment. We're going to break down exactly how that trade was managed later in the video. And on top of that, also look at Ethereum, which is setting up a very clean 4-hour swing idea that I'm watching closely. So let's slow everything down and break this market apart. This is Bitcoin on Point, where I walk you through the charts exactly as the structure unfolds. If you appreciate structure over noise, and if these daily breakdowns are helping you make sense of this market, please smash the like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Now, before we go further into the charts, let's talk about what's happening in the background. As always, this quiet build-up matters more than what most people realize. The President of the United States just made a very strong statement. He said that the US government sold tens of thousands of Bitcoin in the past, Bitcoin that would be worth billions of dollars today. And then he said something even more important though. From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoiner knows very well. Never sell your Bitcoin. This isn't a trader talking. This is the President of the United States. It's state-level narrative shifting. Now, at the same time, Canada has tightened crypto custody rules. Platforms are now required to clearly disclose how customer assets are stored, and they're legally liable if funds go missing. And single custody models are being phased out in favor of regulated third-party safeguards. This isn't anti-crypto behavior, right? This is institutionalization. Now, zooming out to our third development, Ray Dalio just said the current monetary order is breaking down and that fiat is no longer a true central bank asset. This isn't a headline that's meant to scare you. This is a macro investor explaining why hard assets actually matter. So again, all of this macro doesn't tell us where the price is going to shift today, right? But it does tell us something very clear. Governments are changing their tone. Regulation is becoming infrastructure, and Bitcoin is being treated less like a trade and more like a strategic asset. And that's always why we let the structure lead, not the emotions, not the headlines. Now, diving into the charts and starting with Bitcoin on the weekly, we previously was in a very clean and clear uptrend. We had higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. We had a bullish formation. But recently, price did dip below the most recent higher low. And what this introduces is a potential market structure shift. However, very important, this isn't confirmed yet. For this to become a true market structure shift, what we actually need to see is a clean close beneath this weekly higher low. And that sits roughly at 74K. Not just a wick or a temporary dip down below. We need a full-on close below it. So if that close happens, the liquidity taken near 97K becomes a lower high, right? And the current move becomes a lower low. And this officially means the market is transitioning into a bearish structure. But until that close happens, this just remains a warning phase, not necessarily confirmation. So it's definitely something we're going to keep our eyes on. Now, with that in mind, let's move on to the daily. This is where the real question is based on support. Because we've already seen that price failed multiple times around 94K, right? And even when it briefly closed above, the continuation still failed. Price then broke through the trend line very cleanly, and it retraced perfectly into around $90,000. And sold off again. So this tells us that sellers are in control, and right now the key question is, where does the price actually hold as support? So for that reason, I've actually marked many targets on the charts, and these aren't random. We've got 69K, 63K, 58K, and 52K. Each of these levels in the past either represented prior consolidation, order block activity, or a major historical reaction zone. So it's a hotspot. There is no clean support above these levels. So the next phase of this move depends entirely on which of these levels actually absorb the price first, right? So that's what we're keeping our eyes on. Now, a quick note before we go to the lower time frames. All of my trades are tracked on Profits Precision dashboard, and every real-time update happens in my free Telegram. YouTube is for the structure, but Telegram is where I execute everything live. Now, with that in mind, let's drop into the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. And this is playing out exactly as expected. Bitcoin consolidated, it then broke down, entered the manipulation phase, and currently speaking, we're actually still in that manipulation period. So normally what we tend to see after manipulation is distribution. But that's only assuming that the support is holding, right? So if 74K holds, a distribution towards the upside then becomes a possible scenario. But if the sellers remain aggressive, however, then the higher time frame bearish pressure is due to take over again. And that's where ultimately prices are likely to continue towards the daily support levels that we just discussed. So this isn't a time to predict. This is a time to observe reactions. Now, let's talk about the Chili's USDT trade that we took yesterday, because this is a great example of how to trade in conditions like this, right? Our setup was clean. Momentum was strong from our entry area, and I simply just waited patiently for price to come back into my levels. And once price did move in my favor and approached TP2, this is where I adjusted my stop loss up to TP1. And this was, I think, a vital decision, because with the way the market is actually behaving right now, obviously prices can reverse at any moment, right? However, the price did actually come back. It hit the adjusted stop, and I did walk away risk-free, and I locked in $82 in profit. Now, I know, guys, it's not a huge trade, but it was a well-managed trade, right? And in markets like this, protecting the capital matters more than actually forcing the size of the trade. All of this was updated live in my Telegram. It's where it happens. Make sure you click the links in the description and head on over to check it out. Now let's look at Ethereum on the 4-hour. This is where the current trade idea that I'm looking to take next is actually unfolding. And we know already the market is primarily bearish, so this is a swing short setup. It's not a long trade, right? And I've already mapped the impulsive leg out. I've drawn fibs on from 0 to the previous high at 100%, and I've marked the golden zone around the 0618 fib retracement, right? This is a golden zone where traders ideally look to set up a trade. And this area also sets up perfectly with the 50 EMA that was lost and the 100 the 100 EMA. We're not on the week, we're on the 4-hour. The 100 EMA that we lost, right? And we also have prior resistance. So there's three major points of confluence: the golden ratio on the fibs, the 50 EMA, the 100 EMA vicinity, and also prior resistance. So that's why in that area is where I'm planning for the short, right? So the actual trade idea is as followed. Our entry is at the 61% Fibonacci retracement. Our stop loss, is above 3K, and the target is back down into the current support zone. So that's the idea, right? And this is, it's planned, it's not forced. Because if price does retrace into the 0618 and confirms it, then I'll take the trade. But if it doesn't, I'm simply going to stay flat, right? And as always, as I keep saying, everything will be updated live in my Telegram. The links are in the description. Now, let me give you a quick trading challenge update where we're taking $10,000 to $100,000. This is kind of where the execution actually matters, right? So you have to focus. And so far, this challenge has been very clean and very controlled. We've taken 4 trades, and all 4 of those trades have been green. So it's not luck. This was execution and discipline. Now, the account is sitting at $678 in profit, up roughly 67%, and we've got 0 losing trades. We're on a bit of a streak here. Now, every single trade, every entry, every stop adjustment, it's all tracked transparently using this Profits Precision dashboard. It's the platform I use to log my performance. I can review all my stats and stay accountable with everything. There's no hidden numbers and there's no cherry-picked results. It really is a great platform. All executions are done on Weeks Exchange. I use them because of fast execution and deep liquidity. And it's especially important in markets like this where things move very fast. So just to be clear, none of this is hindsight. Everything is shared live in Telegram. If a trade is taken, if it's managed, if it's skipped, You'll see it all there. Now, if this breakdown has helped you, make sure you like the video, share it with your friends and family, people who are involved in the market and respect structure, not just the headlines and all of the noise. Subscribe, smash that like button, and drop a comment with what level you're watching next. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you want mine and all the real-time updates, join the free Telegram. Now, stay patient, stay objective, and I'll see you in the next update.